Hello, Sacred Family, Kimberly Swenson. I wanted to come here today and share my story with you. So recently I asked on Facebook what the difference was between a belief and knowing. And a lot of people had their explanations, and there were some amazing ones on there that I agree with. To me, this is what a belief is for me. I can believe something. When I was born into a family that had certain beliefs. They had a religious structure, and they raised me with these beliefs. And I believed that for a long time. I thought I even knew it because the belief felt like it was so ingrained in me. And then on my path, I realized that that was just a belief that I was raised with, that it wasn't a knowing. And since then, I have come to this understanding that unless I have a direct experience, I can believe anything I want, but I don't know it unless I've had a direct experience myself. So someone can tell me, you know, this is bad for you. But until I ingest it and feel the effects of it, I don't know it, right? So that is the difference to me. Then on my path, there were many times that I believed that I was healthy and that I was doing the best for my body, because I was doing the best that I knew how at that time. I didn't really know any better, and I believed that I was really healthy. And since then, on my path, I've realized that, wow, I was taught so many false things that weren't true that I believed at the time. And so this has taken me on this quest of not just coming from a belief now, but a knowing for me and myself. And here's how my path unfolded. So I ended up on what many would call the red road, the sacred medicine path. We did lots of different ceremonies: ayahuasca, kambo, bufo, awachuma, you name it. I've probably sat in a ceremony with some sacred medicine and someone, in sharing in that space. Iboga. I've done many plant medicines, and on that path, I was healing myself and all the parts of myself that I didn't love, learning to love myself. And after one Iboga ceremony, well, it wasn't one Iboga ceremony, it was three Iboga ceremonies within a 10-day process, because it took 2 days to recover from these, and it just really cleansed my body deeply. I could actually feel the medicine going in and healing me. And after that, I had been feeling a lot of tightness in my body. And I thought, this is weird, because I know my body really well. I did yoga regularly. I ate what I thought was good, really good. I didn't eat any canned food. I was soaking and making my own beans. And I was, using the best ingredients that I could find. And I still, as I was aging, was having like tension and feeling like just tightness in my body. And I was like, what is going on? Is this just, and I chalked it up to the aging process, right? Because I just thought, well, this is, everyone's bodies start breaking down. This is what happens. But then after Iboga and it cleansing my system, I realized that was not, I guess, the norm that I had to experience, because it took the tension out of my body. It was gone. And then I went back to my regular life and eating, and the tension came back. So I knew there was, something going on, but I still didn't correlate it directly to the food I was eating until I read a book. I came across a book called The Essene Gospel of Peace. And this book was from the archives of the Vatican. And it is supposedly Jesus, aka Yeshua, but most people know as Jesus, telling the people how to heal themselves. And he taught them that what we put into our bodies, when we eat live food, then it quickens and livens our cells. And then when we eat dead food, the same thing happens. Our cells become dead also, and we age faster. And so when I read this book, it really resonated with my soul, and I felt the truthfulness of it, but I didn't know. It was a belief, right? I was like, okay, this feels true. And when I explained it to David, he wasn't ready to undertake that, type of a path. It's pretty extreme for, what most of us were raised with. It feels extreme to go that far. And so I just didn't do anything. I didn't take any action for a year. I told myself excuses. I thought, oh, this is going to be too hard. I can't do it by myself. If David doesn't want to do it, then. So I told myself all these limiting beliefs, and I just didn't do anything for a year until the universe brought me to a situation where I had no excuses anymore. I was alone in a tiny home for 10 days with no one cooking around me, no one eating, no one to cook for, and so I was like, oh, well, I have zero excuses now. So I did it. I did the 7-day fast with enemas, cleansed my body, and then researched and started transitioning to a raw plant-based diet. And the inflammation in my body left. So I know now from my experience that what I was eating was causing the inflammation in my body. And then I came upon a study that explained it further. In the 1940s, a Swedish scientist named Paul Kochekoff, he did a study on what is now termed digestive leukotosis. I encourage everyone to research it. Look this up and find out for yourself. Don't take my word for it. So in this study, he took different people and would feed them different foods and then take blood samples. And he found that certain foods created this digestive leukotosis, which is white blood cells going in and attacking the food. And some were higher levels and some lower. The worst offenders were grilled meats, processed meat, pasteurized foods, artificial sweeteners, like these type of things, the body viewed as very toxic, and all these white blood cells would go in to try to, protect the body from this invader. Foreign invader is what it views it as. But if someone were to boil foods at a low temperature, it had a very mild reaction. And then when people ate raw, live food, the body did not have any digestive leukotosis. So now I have scientific study and my direct experience to back up what I believed. Now I don't just have a belief. For me, I know this is true because of my experience. And that's the difference between knowing something and believing something. I believed it before, and now I know because I practiced it. I've gone in and I've practiced eating cooked foods. Just the other day, we thought, we're gonna frolic, and we ate some French fries, which we know are gonna cause inflammation, but we decided we were gonna do that. And so, but I know that when I do those things, my body's going to have to detox and process that. And the more I observe that and see the effects, the less I really want to do that. It took me at least a good day, if not two, to process all of that stuff and feel like myself again. And so, yeah, the thought of doing that again isn't that exciting to me. So the more I practice, the less exciting any of that is. So this is part of my path, and this is what I do know. There are those that have been in power that want to control humanity, and they have done that with our foods. They've told us, certain foods, they've put it out there, and the United States is one of the worst offenders. If you look to other countries, I was just talking to a woman in the park the other day that's from Germany, and she said they don't allow these foods there. And I've heard that more than once from people that lived in other countries. So there is an attack on specifically, the people here in the United States in regards to our foods. And we have the choice what to put into our sacred body temples. That's our choice. But often we don't really know because there's so much conflicting evidence out there of what to choose. You can find evidence to support whatever you want to believe out there. If someone wants to believe that certain things are, best for them, I know you can find evidence to support that. But the only way that you will know anything is by direct experience. And so David and I are going to do a little jump start and help people. So we have a whole book now, this True Raw, everything we've studied, researched, practiced with ourselves in our own bodies and learned, we have now available and ready to share. And we have this book ready, and we're ready to start a group. So anyone who is interested, and I could list, if you have any health ailments, whatever it is, the more live food you eat, the healthier you will become. My daughter, even after, David and I, we've been here about a month now, and she goes, well, maybe someday, yes, I will probably do that because I can see you have so much energy. Like, you keep up with Zaya, which is her 2-year-old, all day. So she's observed and is like, all right, you're doing something right. I can tell you, you don't know how good you feel until you feel it. You don't know how good you can feel. And I didn't know how good I could feel, and neither did David. He wasn't overweight. We didn't have any major health pressing issues like cancer or diabetes or any of that. We just I noticed that my body was getting a little more tension and, feeling really kind of not that great. And so this process showed me what it was from. It was a direct result from the food I was eating. And I know most of us, food is it's like you feel, so many people think like, well, this is from my ancestors, my family ate this. Well, okay. If you want to, everyone has a choice. They can continue to do what they have always done, and they'll get the same results that they've always gotten, right? I have friends now that are my parents' age, that their bodies are really breaking down. One of them has dementia, can't remember anything, Another one of our friends has neuropathy, can't feel their feet. And I know all of these things are caused by not knowing how to feed ourselves properly. And one of my friends asked, like, why isn't there any recent studies done? Why is this the only study? The question I have is, why wasn't this study ever shared? You have to actually dig deep to even find it. Paul Kochikov received a Nobel Prize. Who's heard of him? I never had. Why did we never even hear about this study is what I want to know. And I can tell you what I think. I believe that it's because the pharmaceutical industry and the food industry have been in cahoots. And those that have been in power know that they can control us and keep our consciousness at a lower level if they can keep our guts off. You have 3 brains. You have your mind, your heart, and your gut. And if your gut is off, your intuition, that's why they call it your gut intuition. If they can throw this off, then they can throw you off connecting with all 3 of your brains. And that intuition, that gut intuition will be off. And we'll be in this constant state of dis-ease, not at ease, our bodies not being at ease. Then people go to their doctor, and what do? They don't tell them, oh, you need to eat more fresh food. No, they give them a pill, which blocks the pain receptors for what they're doing. It doesn't actually fix any problem. It's just blocking pain receptors. So if you want to be one of those that just does what everyone else is doing, you're going to get what everyone else has got. But if you are ready to take your power back and take your health back, because I know true wealth is health. You can have all the money in the world, but if you don't feel good in your body, what good is that? So David and I have spent quite some time and a lot of heartfelt energy into researching and figuring this out with our own body temples to share it with you. And if you would like to join us, we are going to be doing a 28-day raw food challenge. I'll put all the details below, and sign up. This is going to be so fun and exciting. I have really enjoyed learning to create new things this way. I know, many people, they love pizza. And one of the recipes in our book is a raw pizza, and it tastes like pizza. My daughter ate it, who is not on any raw diet, and she loved it. So these foods, they taste similar, and we have the same texture, but they're alive, and they're not going to cause that digestive leukotosis in your system. So sign up if you want to be the best and highest version of you, and you're ready to practice a new way of being. So much love.